More details are emerging about the suspected gunman who killed at least 3 people at a popular food festival in California. At least 15 others were injured at the Gilroy Garlic Festival yesterday, just south of San Jose. The suspect has been identified as 19-year-old Santino William Legan.
New video shows officers searching the suspect's home earlier. We know police found a backpack with rifle ammo inside, but the motive remains unclear. Jamie Yukas has more.
Shots rang out at the end of the Gilroy Garlic Festival, sending people scrambling for safety. Witnesses say a man appeared to the right of a concert stage, holding a semi-automatic rifle. Singer of the band, Tin Man, heard someone shout, "Why are you doing this?" And the gunman reply, "Because I'm really angry."
It was like a semi-automatic going off really close, too. You know, people screaming and hiding and ducking.
They were getting closer. So I just started running. I left everything and I ran.
I felt one of the bullets go over my head, and then we actually seen a couple of bullets fly by. And that's when we just helped everybody get out of the way, get out of the scene.
I thought I was gonna die.
This 7-year-old boy hid under a table.
Since they were like 40 feet away from us.
Police say the gunman avoided security and metal detectors by entering through the creek north of the park and using a tool to cut through the fenced-in area.
Officers were in that area and engaged the suspect in less than a minute.
Video taken after the shooting appears to show a man handcuffed on the ground, surrounded by officers. Nearby, the wounded are being treated by emergency responders. The panicked crowd evacuated immediately. Some people were brought to local schools. Others took shelter in semi-trailer trucks, waiting to be reunited with their families.
It is such a sad, just horribly upsetting circumstance. To have seen this event end this way this day is just one of the most tragic and sad things that I've ever had to see.
That was Jamie Yukas reporting. So for more on this, we want to bring in retired senior FBI profiler Mary Ellen OToole. She is also the program director at George Mason University's Forensic Science Department. She's with us now on the phone. So Mary Ellen, we always really appreciate talking to you because you give us such great insight. We don't know much about the alleged gunman, the suspect. We know his name is Santino William Legan. He's 19 years old. And that's pretty much it. You know, our producers have been sort of digging around trying to find social media. We have to sort of confirm whether or not what we're finding online is actually this person. But based on what we know about him, what we know about the shooting, what would your assessment be?
Well, first and foremost, like so many of these other shooters, the fantasizing and the thinking about doing something like this because the shooter is very angry and he blames other people for whatever is going on in his life, that really precedes the event itself. And it could go back as long as a year, maybe even longer, where he's been thinking about it and kind of ruminating about it. And then they take steps. He's taken steps to actually put a plan together. So that really shows a lot of premeditation, which is important to understand. And the fact that you've got him using some strategy. He's crossing into the Garlic Festival via an area that's not really being screened by law enforcement. So he doesn't want to be caught, and he wants to take people by surprise. And then he's also, it sounds like anyway, he's pretty heavily armed, which is again typical of these people, which suggests that these people want to kill as many people as they can before they're stopped by law enforcement.
You know, Mary Ellen, witnesses say that they asked the gunman, "Why are you doing this?" And they say he yelled back, "Because I'm mad." I mean, the fact that he's so young, 19 years old, you know, a lot of people are going to see this and they're going to learn more about this individual. And it just strikes me, and we've talked about this before, that the FBI has done tons of research on this, on who generally are the individuals who carry out heinous acts like this. And just share with our audience what you've learned over the course of many, many years of studying these types of mass shootings.
Well, most mass shooters tend to be males, and the majority of them tend to be in that age range of late teens to late 20s. And post-Columbine, many of them now they're not spontaneous events. They are preceded by warning behaviors, which we continually try to put out there towards the public. But people that would have been around this shooter prior to the incident would have seen some of these warning behaviors. For example, he would have been practicing with the firearm. He probably would have had a dress rehearsal where he puts the vest on and other things. He might have posted on social media, but they don't all. He would have been very, very interested in other prior shootings to learn how they were done and how many people died. He also might have shown, anecdotally, we know this, an interest in Hitler and Nazi Germany. He may have pulled back from his family and other people, but his focus would have been on mass shootings and his anger and his blaming other people for what's going on in his life. So he reached a point in his development where he's looking at people, the victims, ultimately they are the people he shot and killed, as non-humans. And it takes a while to get to that point where you become so desensitized you can do that. That's a lot of time for people to see warning behaviors. This takes a long time.
So, we've heard that police are searching for a possible accomplice, that witnesses say they probably saw an accomplice. Vlad and I were kind of talking earlier, and I was thinking about all the other times that we've seen these sort of mass shootings or active shooter situations. I do recall, maybe 2 shooters, but I don't really recall a shooter with an accomplice at the scene. Is that typical or not?
No, I wouldn't say it would be typical. It could have been somebody that was misinterpreted as being associated with the shooter, or it could be an outlier incident that there was someone that was with them and then they've left the scene. So it remains to be seen just exactly who this elusive second person is. But if it was someone that came with him to help him carry it out, and then that certainly would be not typical.
All right. Mary Ellen OToole, as always, we thank you for your insights.
You're very welcome.